Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 6.
It's meant so that the economy can kind of stay a little healthier. So I would urge people that don't have a lot in savings to, use that for essential expenses.
People are checking their bank accounts and finding money has arrived from the federal government. And there are plenty of suggestions out there on how you should use your stimulus check and whether you have to pay it back. Valley News Team's Joshua Peguero spoke to a local tax expert today to separate fact from fiction.
The millions of Americans who qualify for the federal stimulus checks should start receiving them soon. The money is part of the historic $2.2 trillion bill passed last month. Callan Bjorgum of Moorhead says he plans to use it to catch up on bills.
It's going to help a lot of people, but like I said, it's not a fix-all. This thing could last for a long time, and $1,200 doesn't exactly go very far.
Samantha Berg of Audubon says she's using it to do housework and help a local business.
We're going to use our stimulus check towards getting our yard planted for some grass, getting it seeded from a local landscaping company.
The bill was intended to jolt the U.S. economy as the coronavirus pandemic forced millions to become unemployed. If you're single, you get $1,200 if you earned under $75,000. For a couple, it's under $150,000 and $500 for each child.
From what we understand right now, it's not taxable income. It's based on your either 2019 tax return if it's been filed or 2018 tax return.
Accountant Devin Lillianquist says you should spend the money on essential items.
It's a 2020 tax credit, but if in 2020 your income is too high or you wouldn't have received it, you're not going to have to pay it back.
North Dakota State University professor Dr. Robert Hearn says it's hard for the money to boost our economy when most places remain closed.
I don't think we're going to spend more money because we get a new check. I think we're constrained.
Hearn says a better approach could have been helping only unemployed Americans. In Fargo, Joshua Peguero, Valley News Live.
The IRS says most Americans should get their money in the next 2 weeks. On their website, they plan to soon launch a tool where you can monitor where your check is and when it's due to arrive. Once the online tool launches, we will let you know and link it to our valleynewslive.com and VNL News app. More people have died in Minnesota from the COVID-19 pandemic. The death toll in the state now stands at 79. 1,695 cases have been reported in the state since the outbreak started. 177 people are in the hospital, 75 of them in ICU. 909 people are listed as recovered. New numbers for North Dakota show that 13 people remain hospitalized with COVID-19, and there have been 10 more who have tested positive since yesterday. Overall, 341 people have tested positive, 138 have recovered, and there have been 9 deaths. The executive director of North Dakota's Indian Affairs Council has some advice for the state's 5 tribes when it comes to COVID-19. Scott Davis says, don't panic, get the facts, and seek out information.
And it's powerful, and it's something that we really need to respect. And I'll have to say it again, we really need to respect that. And we have guidance out there. There are rules, whether they're state or tribal. And we as relatives, speaking from a relative standpoint, we need to follow those. We need to follow those back home.
Davis thanked the state for its efforts to help North Dakota tribes. That included stepped-up efforts in Mountrail County and recent testing done there with members of the 3 affiliated tribes. The injury was overnight snow. The insult was that we couldn't get rid of all of it today. Hutch joins us now from his home, where he is social distancing, or maybe hiding out. Hutch?
Mike, yep, I got to tell you, a few flurries dancing across the valley, even into the evening hours. And you're right, it didn't melt because temperatures were stapled in the 20s. Continued flurries. I want to point out that this area here in central Minnesota, well, if you look at our radar, it looks high and dry. That's not the case. We have spotty flakes there as well. Those radar beams overshoot the tops of those clouds so they don't all show up once we get a little farther away from our radar sites in Mayville and Duluth. Your planner in Fargo tonight, low 20s. So, Mike, you won't melt any snow this evening. The good news is the wind will start decreasing. Grand Forks will be in the teens by the time we're getting ready for bed tonight. And speaking of the Northern Valley, if you take a look at the picture back there from the dike in East Grand Forks, the waters in Grand Forks starting to recede. To the north, we have water levels that are still an issue, and we're monitoring them closely. Pembina will see rising water and crest next week. Drayton, though, you are cresting as we speak. Oslo starting to recede.
All right, thanks so much, Hutch. Formal charges have been filed against one of 5 people arrested Sunday night in Grand Forks. Luke Drogas is accused of burglary and accomplice to robbery. Authorities say that Drogas broke into an apartment, seriously injured a man, and forced the man to make an electronic transfer of money. 4 others have also been arrested and will likely be charged. All of the accused are from Fargo or Grand Forks. Their names and more information can be found on this story on the VNL News app. People living on the White Earth Reservation can now get rapid COVID-19 testing at the Shooting Star Casino in Mahnomen. You must have symptoms that are consistent with COVID-19 for at least 4 days and must call to register before arriving at the testing site. The phone number is 218-936-2738. It's open from 9 a.m. to 1:30 in the afternoon each day. Testing is available from 10 in the morning until 2 in the afternoon. 23 people have been charged with violating Minnesota's stay-at-home order. In many cases, officers added the misdemeanor charge as a secondary offense onto another crime. Among those charged was a man who allegedly went to a hotel to meet a prostitute he met online. Another involved an alleged drunk driver who got his truck stuck in a construction zone before running off and trying to hide in a shed. The executive order was put into place in mid-March and tells Minnesotans to stay at home, unless they are buying food or other limited reasons. If you're caught, you could spend up to 90 days in jail and pay a $1,000 fine. Law enforcement across the state made 75 alcohol or drug-related arrests in the month of March. It was part of the state's Drive Sober or Get Pulled Over campaign. 390 citations were handed out. 69 were alcohol-related, with 43 driving under the influence arrests. 21 arrests or citations were given out for minor in consumption. A Minnesota community didn't let the coronavirus get in its way of honoring a veteran. We're going to tell you about the military honors later on Valley News Live at 6.
And a fresh layer of snow created slippery across the valley as we began our morning. Photos in from today showed those clouds once again dark with brief, heavy snow showers. Here's your time lapse. We'll eventually get better. Your hour-by-hour forecast is coming up right after this.